So Teagan, you told me the top signs that we need to look out for in the last video, and that mother's intuition is really important, and sometimes we ignore it. So what are the impacts, I guess, if we ignore the warning signs that there's something wrong with our child's development?
Yep. The first one, I guess, and the most noticeable one is generally frustration. It's really, really hard for a child when they can't get their message across, or people can't understand them, or they don't have the words to tell you what's wrong. They get really frustrated, and we often see that as behaviours. We see meltdowns, we see tantrums, and all sorts of things we don't want to see in our children. So frustration is probably the biggest one. Following on from that,
because you likened it to being in another country and not being able to speak.
Absolutely. So if you think of going to Japan and not speaking Japanese, or having a little bit of Japanese and thinking you're speaking really good Japanese and no one's understanding you, that's what it's like for some of our littlies. It's very frustrating.
Would be. So what's the second one?
The next one would be the academic and learning. So if we're not getting our sounds right, if we're not understanding what's happening, if we're not able to follow instructions, put words together, all those sorts of things, when we hit the classroom, all that work is going to be really hard, and it just gets harder and harder and harder as we go on.
So what happens is, if there's things that we noticed in prep, and we sort of just another year goes on, the gap increases.
Absolutely. So what was a smaller gap that wasn't going to be too hard to catch up on, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now the child has to work so much harder to catch up and then keep up with their peers in the classroom.
So early detection and early intervention is the best way forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. The other impacts we often see is then social. So you don't want your child to be the one that other kids don't want to play with because they can't understand him, or because they keep getting hit out of frustration. The children that are struggling in school, that then impacts their self-esteem, which can also impact your social relationships. We don't want our children to feel like their opinions are worth any less, and their stories are worth any less, because they're not. So that's really affects their self-esteem and their confidence as well. That then leads into the classroom. They don't want to try, they don't want to participate because everything's too hard. They don't want to be, it's embarrassing for some kids. Every time they try, they feel like they're failing, so they stop trying. We then see, things like high school dropouts, lack of employment, ongoing impacted social relationships into adulthood. There can be quite large long-term impacts if we don't get on top of these sorts of things early.
It's scary, really, isn't it? So, if you have seen the last video and you saw some of those warning signs, this video really should get you moving, because you don't want your child having those long-term impacts of long unemployment, and I guess that self-esteem is a really, really big one as well. All of them are big ones. So if you have any concerns at all about your child's speech development or communication development, let's call it, definitely go see Teagan and the team at Talk Time.